Once I did that project with Miu Miu, a few months after that, I was already working with Prada. They sent me a creative brief. Based on that, I'm gonna create videos with my touch. I was like very inspired, obviously, by Zach King. And I was like posting like 2 or 3 videos a week. And then I did like this one video that was like 3 seconds long. That video hit 35 million views. Why don't you hire just like an editor? Because I love editing. Why don't you hire somebody to go and like and film it for you? Because I love filming. You have like 2 hours in the museum. It was supposed to be one video. Walking into that room with nobody there. Not even a security guard. The only people that did that was Beyonce and Jay-Z.
You're the digital creator to some of the biggest brands in fashion, like Miu Miu, Prada, some of the LVMH brands like Louis Vuitton, and one of the most sought after videographers in your field. And how did that journey start for you?
I was working in an agency in Paris called Follow Agency that would manage young influencers. And this was my first time kind of like having an experience within this new world that I was also discovering. And it was everything kind of new for me. And because I was there, we had like a proximity with Instagram. And I knew in advance that Instagram would launch this new feature called Reels, which would be kind of very similar in a way than like how TikTok works and how YouTube Shorts like works as well, which is like vertical videos that turns in loop that you can like scroll forever and always like be seeing like something new. And I kind of like felt that there was like something to do with that. And I was already like during the pandemic, I was like trying some new like videos and trying to like do some stuff. I was like very inspired, obviously, by Zach King, which he made like a lot of like this loop content, and I wanted to do some like loop stuff as well. I thought that this was kind of cool. And so when Instagram launched Reels, I started like posting and trying new things. And like one day, like the videos kind of like starting like picking up. Like I remember one of the first that I did was like this 360 with this 360 camera that I talked to you about earlier. And I was like just skating with like an electronic skateboard, and I was skating around Paris. And that video like hit like 300,000 views, which like for me at that time
Wow.
it was like crazy, you know. And then another one, and I was like posting like maybe videos like 2 or 3 videos a week. I would try to, I was working up until like 5, 6, but then I would use like all my spare like time just to create. I would come to the studio and I would just like do, I don't know, I would have like an idea. I'm gonna just like do something, and I'll just had the idea. I shot it, I edited, and then I posted. That was like that. And then I did this video when I was like, it was actually, it's funny because I have this very like strong relationship with golfing now. But the first video that actually went viral was like the first time that I was golfing. But it was like I was just like in this hotel that had like a golfing range, and I was just like there, like I had no idea how like what even like a swing is like. And I did this video with like a transition video. When I hit the ball, my clothes change, and then I walk out of the frame, and then it's just like this infinity loop like this. And this video was the first one to hit like 1 million views. And it was like, okay, there is like really something happening here. And this like kept happening, and it was just like million, and then it was like a little bit more, and then it was a little bit more. And I did this video like that I shot in the studio. It was basically like, it's even hard to explain because I have no idea how I like find my video ideas. But I was like jumping like on a hole, and then I take like, it was like a reflector, and I take the reflector out. It just like made no sense. But I remember that was the first video that actually started going crazy. It went up into like, I think 18 million views, but like
On
it was
Instagram.
getting 1 million like views like every day, and you wouldn't stop. Like my Instagram was like just like crazy. Like like notification wise, I couldn't even follow anything. And then I did like this one video that was like 3 seconds long. That was like when I was like, wait, there's something here. 3 seconds long, and I hesitated in posting because I was like, wait, it's just like a 3 seconds video, like, you know. And it was basically me jumping like on a swimming pool and doing like a
Yeah,
cannonball.
I've seen that one. I love that
My hand
one.
comes in and just boom, flick myself out. Just that, boom. with like a little sound. That's it. And I remember that I didn't even edit that properly because I remember there was like this palm tree at the back that was kind of like moving a little bit, and you can actually see it. But I posted, and that video hit 35 million views, and it was just like this for maybe like weeks, every day, another million, and wouldn't stop. And basically, that kind of like already started giving me the idea that, wait, there is some short form like videos, like there's something going on with this like short form content, and that people just wanna like keep watching it, and then they rewatch it, and there was something really interesting here. And at the same time, I started having some brands like approaching me, and the first one was actually Adidas in Paris.
Hmm.
That, but it was different. They didn't want me to promote their products as a like an influencer. I don't really like this word, but you know what I mean.
Mm.
And it was more like, oh, can you produce videos for us to post? And I was like, okay. And basically, that's how we started. I did one, two like videos with them. And then I got the chance to do like a very, very cool project with the Louvre Museum,
Yeah,
where I, like in this video, that I stole the Mona Lisa with using
I
this,
I
yeah,
love that one as
using
well.
those
Yeah.
effects. And I think like honestly, this was like a project that like really like put me out there, and from there, it's still happening right now. Because like after that, I just like received a DM from a few months after that. I received a DM from Miu Miu, a DM from Miu Miu. It was not even their
From the
original
official
email.
account.
Yep, from their official account. I was
That's
like,
so funny.
what? Miu Miu, hello. And basically like asking to like, yeah, can you come, like we're having this shoot, can you come produce video for us? And basically that's kind of how it started.
Wow, what
Very
a
like kind of
story.
organically in a way, and then it was just like, modeling from there.
I think it's an incredible story, actually,
To hear.
because it's like you timed this beginning of a new era for social media,
Yep.
really, because Instagram, which basically changed, it was one app that basically changed the world. People were
Yes.
posting photos, and then they realized, okay, it's something different happening now. TikTok is coming. We
Yes.
have to do something different, and they obviously did something with stories a few years earlier, which came from Snapchat, and
Yes.
now this was, it's all converging in a way. So
Of course.
in that timing, that's when you realized, okay, there's something new here, and I want to try this
Yeah.
out. And had you done like a lot of video before that, or was that also like your first
Um,
video?
Videos on with this way. It was the first time, like with kind of like VFX and playing with like different like editing techniques. I used
Mm,
to do videos before, but it was more like a how can I say, like more like kind of like normal type of videos, where
yeah.
like, yeah, like I would shoot like some models and some like influencers, content creators, for like to promote like a Puma shoes for their account. And then I'll do more like a street style kind of video with like, different shots, like wide and all, and have some like close-ups, but nothing with this idea of like transitions and with like a snappy like effect, something to kind of like make people be like, wait, what happened? Let me see
Mm,
that again.
mm,
So that was actually the first time that I was like playing with that, because I was actually starting this. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was learning as I was going, because I didn't know how to edit this type of videos. That's why I
yeah.
was like telling you, I would get into the studio, be like, okay, how can I jump into like a small cup of water? Okay, maybe I can just like, have a little play with the perspective. Of course, like the cup of water is gonna be in the front, and then okay, how can I like have the water splash without me like putting something on it? Oh, okay, a nice. I can just pick like a cube of ice and drop it. It's not gonna really see
Yeah.
it because like, it'll be. And then it was just like going like that, and then I would like go like sit in front of the computer with all of this footage and be like, okay, now how can I put all of this together? Have no idea. Sometimes I would spend like hours to edit something that like now I can really edit super quick, obviously, but and I was just like discovering like this and like learning new techniques and learning new things, and from that I would be able to do like have other ideas and be able to execute them.
And it really looks like magic. I mean, it's you can sit there and watch for hours and like, how is that even possible? Because it goes like too quickly for you to understand that something's happening. You try to, it's like a magic trick. You try to see, but then it's
Exactly.
like looping, and
Yeah.
then it's more and more views coming for that.
Yeah.
And I've also seen Zach King, which also is like crazy stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's so cool because, I mean, just look at Mr. Beast and now Zach King, and I mean, probably a lot of other people also that are coming up. You know, you're starting as a creator of some sort, or you're really good at editing videos, but then that grows into a real big business with a big team, and
Yeah.
you know, then you can build businesses on top of that. I mean, look at what Mr. Beast has done. So
Yeah.
it opens up for a new kind of business, which I think is really exciting, and
Of course. Of
it's
course.
very cool.
Yeah. And it just
Um,
gives like a lot of like, new like opportunities for all of us, which is very
yeah.
nice.
And so what happens when you're posting videos like that? You know, the first 3 4 ones, you said the first one at 300,000, the next one was about 1 million, and then, you know, 18 million and like 35 million. When you do that with your own account, which I guess was on your personal Instagram
Yeah.
account, what happens? Like, do random people write you like what?
There's
You know, I guess people have no idea about what happens to you
yeah,
in the cyberspace, so to speak.
there is like a lot of thing happening, but at the same time, I remember feeling like some sort of like I couldn't realize much
Yeah,
because one thing is to see 100 people in front of you clapping for
yeah,
you, and another thing is seeing like that number 400,000. But like if you like, it's really hard to actually like imagine that many people in front of you in a group, like not even like in the like biggest concert, there is not like 500, there's not like 1 million people watching like that one person sing, which is like insane. So like in a way it's like a little bit strange. And like, yeah, obviously a lot of things like happens, like you have like, obviously you start like receiving like a message that are weird, you obviously get some hate, because
really?
of
Yeah, I
course,
guess so. Yeah.
because it's like
What are they hating on? Like,
yeah.
don't make videos like this or whatever.
But the thing is like, yeah, like no, this is boring, like what kind of like, like there's some like a lot of sort of things. But
Yeah,
like people say that like when you start getting some hate is when you actually starting like making it in a way,
yeah,
because
definitely.
there is like a lot of people out there, and taste is very particular, so
Hmm.
you cannot please everyone, even if you're like the nicest person in the world, the most smiley, you're gonna like piss somebody off because you're smiling too much. So there is always gonna be like, somebody to criticize you for something. But at the same time, obviously, that there's a lot of like love that comes from that too, like random people that like just message you and saying like, dude, like you've been inspiring me so much, like I love what you've been doing. This is like some sort of like what I call, like a juice, there's like, okay, that's so cool, like it makes me happy that like with just like my videos I'm able to like make somebody like feel the need to be more creative, and also believe that it's also possible to create something like nowadays just by yourself and turn that into a business. Obviously it's like it's because it's something new, it's like it's hard at the beginning, but just like with everything else, like nothing simple. So being able to like have that connection with like some random people, it's what I think it's the craziest for me.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I'm really new into this as well, actually, and it's some of the videos have been taking off like really much, and then, you know, there's some short form that is even more. And as you said, with the numbers, that's crazy because I was speaking last week in front of 350 people. Is this full theater, 350 people? And, you know, if you're thinking about a YouTube video with 350 views, that's not a lot. But if you're
Exactly.
thinking about one with, you know, I think there's one with over 300,000, and then you compare that with a theater, you're like, oh my god, you know,
Yeah.
it's not even
Yeah.
comprehensible.
Like I don't think
Uh,
like anyone actually realizes like this, like I don't think
yeah,
anyone can actually like, yeah, I'm actually talking to like that many people right now, because you cannot visualize that. It's not something that we're used to, like, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's not like
very
you're
interesting.
it's not like you're on stage and singing and getting a direct feedback from people, because it's like, with your videos, you make them and then you probably go to dinner and meet some friends and then you go to bed and then it's the next day and then the video comes out, and it's the same when you're interviewing somebody like this. It's like
Yeah,
I have no idea like who's
yeah.
watching it, who's so
Of course.
um that's really it's really exciting, and it's sometimes really strange.
Yes, yes. And it can be a little bit scary too sometimes, because of course you're gonna pay attention what you put it out there when you have the when you have the chance that some of your videos are gonna, like, reach like that many people. We come, obviously, it comes with a lot of responsibility as well, and we've seen a lot of, like, people that sometimes, like, like make like small mistakes, but like a small
Yeah.
mistake in like a scale like this, it can become something huge, and impact like people in a way that we have no idea.
Mm.
I could have been saying something that is gonna be really, like, hurtful for somebody, that I'm not gonna really realize it, but
Yeah.
because I'm actually right here doing like a video at home, I'm gonna like say something, and
Yeah.
so yeah,
And
gotta be careful
sometimes
too.
things are taken out of
Yeah,
context as well.
of
So
course, because we're all human, it's like, of
yeah,
course, you can sometimes, like, say something that can be also like not
jargon.
interpreted the way that we were thinking that it
Mm.
would be. So, but it's very interesting.
So how come the fashion brand started reaching out to you? Were you into fashion before you started this, or did you know people there? Or how did that come about?
Actually, it was I don't really know. It was a little bit like random. I was like not like necessarily into fashion, but I actually think, I actually know that the brands and has all like a very like good relationship as well with Facebook, and Meta and TikTok, and those, I know that like some of those brands, they get like advice from those platforms on like
Mm.
what to do and how to create.
Right.
And because I was like kind of like on the rise in the content creation in general, some of those brands like got my name from Meta, to like, as just as a creator that could help create some sort of like content. And once I did that project with Miu Miu, I think I was like able to adapt really well my editing skills to fashion. And I think it only needed that. It was like enough to show that like I can actually create something and adapt to your brand, adapt to fashion, to be able to like expand also what I was doing like in a different way. And uh and things happens like really fast. Like I
Yeah.
did that project, and it was, a few months after that I was already working with Prada. I was already like doing like all sorts of like different like brands, and but very very focused on fashion. And I never had like any other like brands like approaching other than fashion, which was cool because I love it. But it was not something that I necessarily planned to.
Huh.
But I was kind of
Uh,
like, I feel like there is also like a little bit of luck too, with everything.
yeah.
And just be able to be prepared to seize that opportunity when it happens.
And how much flexibility and creativity do you get in the project? Is it usually a very, thought out plan, or is it more like, hey, go do
Okay.
something for us?
Yeah. Okay. So, there is obviously depends on the project, but usually I kind of have like a lot of freedom to create. What happens is, let's say I have like a new project with a brand that is launching. For a shoot of one collection. What usually happens is that they send me a creative brief, which is like the brief that they had they have for the actual campaign. So like the reference, the photos that are going to create, like the mood that they're going to. And based on that, I'm going to create videos that are obviously goes through the same like line, but that are completely kind of like uh, uh, different from what they're doing, even though it's gonna be like the same vibe, but with my touch, my style on it. And what I started doing and what I like really strongly do now is like I used to do like test videos. I started doing like to show like some references. For example, oh, the model is gonna like kind of like start like marching, and then when she, like at every step it's gonna change the look or change the model. So then I
Yeah.
create like a video reference to show to the clients like what I have in mind. And usually it's not like I just like come on set and just do a bunch of videos. Even from that first Miu Miu project, they already knew exactly what I was going to do. One of the videos that I did for them, and I had this idea because we're shooting on the seaside in France, and I had this idea of like dropping one of the bags on water. So you would see just like a frame with the hand coming in, drop the bag, and then the camera follows the bag, and the camera goes underneath the water. And once the bag goes underneath the water, it changes. It's a different bag. And I was like,
Ah,
okay, I need to test that out. Obviously, this is an example that is a little bit hard to test, and because I wouldn't like have like a bag here to put on the water, but and then we have like, okay, video number two, it's gonna be that of the bag dropping the water and changing, switching. So it's very like precise, and like we know exactly I know exactly what I'm doing, and the brand also knows exactly what the brand is receiving. And nowadays it's a little bit more elevated in a way where I actually create the video that I'm gonna be doing with me on it, or with like a model that I hire to make those tests, so they can actually see exactly what the video is gonna be, with effects, like with everything. Obviously I add it in like more kind of like rough, I'm not on set. I'm usually like just like I used to do this at home, so sometimes you would see like part of my kitchen, but they
yeah.
understand the effect. And this is like it becomes something that it's I cannot do without,
Mm.
because the brands need that to validate and understand my concepts. But also when I shoot with the models or with some celebrities, and I have to be quick, here's the video that I'm gonna do with you. I made this quick example, and they're like, oh, cool, okay, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So we say, oh, so for that, I only need one simple shot of you, just like this, walking to the frame, doing this, and walking out. Perfect. So
Ah,
it became something that is like very like structured, even though I need always to be super flexible, because
mm.
this is something that it's new, and because I'm always coming into like an existing campaign that they're shooting. There's the main campaign, and I'm kind of like a collateral set. I don't have necessarily like much time, so I need to be super quick. So some videos sometimes like I and when I say quick, sometimes it's seconds quick. It's like less than a minute. I shoot sometimes with celebrities, and I have like a slot of like they tell me it's 5 minutes, but it's never 5 minutes, and I make in one sometimes, or
Right.
even like 30
Mm.
seconds. And I'm able to capture that little shot that I need because it's well thought before, it's well prepared, and I know
Yeah.
exactly the shots that I need, and I don't need to reshoot and shoot and have like no one. Sometimes it's just like one shot done. Yeah, I got what I need, and it works.
And then you can do the rest post production.
Exactly.
So it's like that 1 minute you need. How do you present this to the client? Like, how do you make it? Are you using like AI tools for that, or is that something you can build out in your home to
No, it's
show
actually
what it's gonna?
it's I basically, I mean, for now I just like create like a creative deck,
Mm.
just like
Okay.
like slides on like PowerPoints, where I have like each videos like per page, like okay, video number one, this is the example. And I even add like usually some voice notes with the client. Sometimes they
Yeah.
kind of like that, like I just like add a voice note to the actual slide, saying,
Yeah.
okay, let me explain a little bit more the video. You have the visual, but obviously this, I'm just wearing two color shirts, but it's to represent that it's going to be a transition of look or of a model.
Mm.
Or obviously sometimes I'm very limited in the way that I can test things, but it's just to help them visualize a little bit more. And so send this deck, like present it like this, and for them it's just like, okay, perfect, we understand, or we validate, can you rework this or this idea, And there were some times it's just like, okay, we love it all. Sometimes it's just like, no, actually, this is not really the direction that we want you to go. Can you like rework on some of these concepts? We like that, but with more dynamic, like, so that's why I always need to be like a little bit flexible. But usually it's like this, it's just like presenting on deck, or sometimes like in a call as well. But sometimes we have to move like super quick, so don't necessarily like have time to have like a call to present the video. So I send my little creative deck, and we'll work like that.
That's awesome. So now you're working almost exclusively with fashion brands. And do you think this is something that if you would, bring in more people, if you would want to build out your business to an agency or something like that, or do you think your talent is something that can be taught out, or is it like an innate ability inside you?
Very, very interesting question. Because everything like can be teachable, and obviously I can share everything and share all my secrets. But I also like truly believe that the way that I do things, there is no one that are gonna be able to do with the same like passion and the same amount of energy that I put into that.
Yeah.
And obviously I had the thought before to like expand the business and be able to, okay, I could actually be covering like all the different brands, and like I have like some people like under me, like some other younger creators that I would like teach them, and that will send them into missions to be able to like expand. And something that I still think about it sometimes, but at the same time it comes back to that question of, will I be able to maintain the quality of the work that I'm doing now if I expand like this? And usually the answer that comes, it's like, it's gonna be hard, or maybe like not
Yeah.
really. And so obviously I can, there's different ways of like expansion. Like I can expand in this way, being able to like doing like a lot, or I can expand more like a slowly but steady but like stronger. So
Yeah.
being able to elevate my work more and more, not necessarily be expanding in terms of like clients and people that are working with me. But
Mhm.
obviously I'm gonna get to a point that like right now like I kind of need an assistant. But it's the assistant that I need is more something that it's um, not necessarily like a person that would need to have all of the skills that I have.
Yeah.
And so it's something that like I'm not really sure, because I'm very scared that like if I do something like that, it would become that thing where it would be hard to have like a control in everything that it's been doing. And I don't want to like I love all the parts of my work. I don't want to
That's
never to be like in a desk and just kind of be like visualizing and managing some projects and like, okay, yeah, this video needs to be like that, this needs to be like this. Maybe it's gonna change in the future, I don't know, but like for now I'm so like passionate about like all the steps of my work. That's why like sometimes people, why don't you hire just like an editor? Well, because I love editing. Like
yeah. Yeah.
why don't you hire somebody to go and like and film it for you? Well, because I love filming. So
Yeah.
I once I have this idea, like the amount of like of pleasure that I get into kind of like visualizing something, filming it, editing it,
Mhm.
seeing how like it's happening, and then seeing the final product already in front of me, and deliver that. This is something that I truly love. So for now I think this is the way that I'm gonna like like handle the business, like being able to grow, but grow smart, I think.
Yeah. It's really something I don't usually think about. And I think people in general probably don't, because when you're talking about expanding your business, you usually think about it horizontally, like more people, more projects, more clients, more, revenue. But then another way of also getting more revenue is growing vertically, like you
Yes.
say, like maybe fewer clients, maybe the same number of clients, but just bigger projects, bigger ticket sizes, way higher quality of work, less people, and doing kind of the same thing. Because if you would bring in a lot of people, you would probably end up doing just people managing.
Yeah,
which is just so different from what you're doing now, and
exactly,
probably you
exactly.
would you would don't like that. Yeah,
Exactly. That's what I feel. And if I'm able to just keep doing what I love, I know that I'll be able to deliver the work that I'm gonna be proud of. And I don't want to never like coming to this point where I'm gonna be deliver something that was like made by somebody else under my, my supervision, and it's something that
yeah,
I'm gonna look at it and I was like, oh, I could have done this better.
yeah, yeah,
Not
exactly.
that there is not like talent people out there. There's a lot of talent people out
Yeah.
there, but I just feel that, you know, I for now it's not something that I see that I see doing.
Where did you learn to edit? Are you self-taught?
Yes, pretty much. I went to university in Leicester in the UK,
Yeah,
where I studied media production.
yeah,
It was actually the first because I actually wanted to become an engineer at first, and I was like 2 years in. Then I changed everything, switched it to media production when I moved to the UK. And there I was actually studying photo. It was very kind of like general at the beginning. Less photography, a little bit of sound, 3D animation, video editing, and then second year and third year you start choosing like the modules that you want to be kind of more specialized in. And because I already had like a good background in photography, I was like going more into video. But it was like what I learned at university was like, yeah, just to edit some videos, but like cut videos, put them together, a little bit of like After Effects, but like After Effects that you'd use to do some like motion graphics with text and all, but like nothing with like this at all. It was really like a lot of YouTube, a
mm,
lot of like time just like me and the softwares and trying things. But a lot of, yeah, mainly if this exactly that I do right now is like a lot of like self-taught. Yeah.
and what is it like when you said Miu Miu was DMing you? How does that work? What happens when they DM you? Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, it was like obviously like you feel like I felt great, it was just, oh my god, like it really shows that like there were some like cool people out there and cool brands that are looking up to you and wants you to be part of their projection, which is something crazy to me because I know how hard it is sometimes to enter this word and
Yeah,
have this trust from some brands that have been there and creating content for like years. Miu Miu is not even like the most like old brand. Miu Miu actually we have the same age. Was launched in 1992,
yeah,
but it's been years of like content creation and have the trust from these brands to like, can you come and create it for us? This is crazy. And it was basically like the DM was like, oh hi Fred, like hope you're well, like well, like like we were doing like this shoot, like we love what you do, like we like your videos, something like that, like would you be like interested in like maybe collaborating with us and like this project that we're doing, like are you available like to talk more? And from that I already had like a email created. It was like not at Gmail, it was like at fredstauffer.com, because at those early stages I was already like trying to make something, okay, if this is going to be my business, let's make something kind of like a little bit more legit, even if it starts just with my email.
yeah.
And so I remember that I already had that. So it would be just like, okay, can you like sign an email here and can like discuss more? Obviously to not be like signing contracts on DM on Instagram, like it doesn't really work. So it was just like that. And after that it was just like we had a talk, we had a call, and we talk about like how it would be. They present me the idea of what they were shooting, and it was like this first time that I was like, was the first deck that I created with the ideas. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna present you some ideas, some concepts. I have some references, I can test some stuff. And I remember the first deck that I sent was that it was not like I do today with super precise in every single video, but there was like a lot of references, and it was, and then it was the same, like they validate those concepts, and it was just like time to shoot. I went with them and spent two days with them there as they were shooting the main campaign for videos, for photos, then sometimes they would just like send me models, and I'll just like shoot the models and send them back, and then it was just kind of like this rolling like this, a little bit
And
like
it's
we do today.
also perfect then that you're in the capital of fashion, Paris. So that was
Yes,
a great coincidence, I guess.
exactly. Yeah, being here, I think it's like everything in life. It's like a lot of things that are happening at the same time. It's obviously the hard work, the opportunity, the luck. That there's always like a little percent of like luck that to be able to be in the perfect place at the right time. But then if you the opportunity comes, but if you're not putting the hard work, it's not gonna follow. So everything needs to kind of like be aligned. And I always thought that, okay, I'm doing my part. So if anything like happens luck wise, I'm ready. So and I always like felt that because I was always like very passionate like about like my work, about what I do, even if it was just like a simple video on Instagram. I would like really put like all my passion into it. And I think this like really showed, on my videos. And other than that, obviously there's like a ton of like a lot of thing that comes with it, because you are also need to be able like as a person to handle this and to be in this type of like situations, and be flexible and be nice, obviously. Because it's you can be talent, you can be at the right place at the right time, you can do good work, but if you're not nice, like people are not gonna want to work with you.
Mm.
So it was like all of these things at the same time that made it happen this way.
I read about the Louvre project that you closed it down for 2 hours or
It
something
was
like that.
it
Can you
was
tell me
during the
about
pandemic. Yeah, this was like
it?
it's still one of the craziest projects, and I actually redid one like that I just posted like 2 days ago, and it was
Oh,
like a
you
crossover post, like it was a collab, like me and the Louvre like posting the same
oh
video.
really?
You know those
Wow.
collab videos that yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow.
which is insane. So basically, what happened was, also thanks to Meta, because the Louvre was looking for creators, because they launched this collab with Uniqlo,
Yep.
just to promote the Louvre a little bit more as a brand. And they were looking for creators to come to the Louvre during, like, the museum was closed because of the pandemic.
Right. You're
And it was and then they my name was put it out there, and I can't remember how they reached out. If it was, I'm pretty sure maybe it was a DM as well. I can't remember, but it was something
so
like that.
so
Yeah,
funny that it's so casual. The
yeah,
Louvre
yeah.
is DM sliding into the DMs.
Yeah, but it was something like that, or even like an email for somebody, but it was like I could like, oh, I'll check later, but I'll let you know
Yeah.
later. But yeah, and then they reached out saying like, we have this project like that we're doing with the Uniqlo. You have like 2 hours in the museum to like do like this video. Was supposed to be one video, and I was also going to have like a kind of like a private tour, which was like super cool.
Wow.
But I was like, okay, if I have 2 hours, is it possible if I actually make a little bit more videos? And I end up making like 6 videos, I think. I did one with with the Mona Lisa. I did one with Venus de Milo, where
Yeah.
like my idea was like, oh, we all wonder like how was her like arm positions.
Yeah.
So I did this video that like I'm in front of the Venus, and like I do like this, and then my arms actually come out. It's like a double of my arms. They're like on Venus. So I'm kind of like doing like this, and then I just do like a little peace sign like this, as like maybe like this was the way that she was. And I remember that it was like super cool, because I obviously, just like I did before, I presented some ideas. I did this how I'm gonna do. They validated, because before they sent me the art pieces that I was able to play with. And when I saw like the Mona Lisa, I was like, okay, that's amazing. Like, of course. And it's funny because it was, I don't know if you saw the French series Lupin. Uh,
I've seen some
yeah,
episodes. Yeah.
it was the same time that like this was coming out.
Oh.
And so I was like, okay, like I need to do like in a fun way, like to steal the Mona Lisa, and, and to kind of like make a reference with that. and this was insane because like and this is something that like I'll never forget, like walking into that room that is usually like full of people with nobody there, not even a security guard.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So you've
there
had the biggest opportunity in the century to steal the Mona
I
Lisa,
know.
probably.
It was insane. Like the only people that did that was Beyonce and Jay-Z. And I was just like there in front, and I remember like there was this like wooden protection like again like right in front of the
There's
uh
this rope in front, right? If I
yeah,
remember when I was there
yeah,
10
yeah.
years ago.
Usually there
Yeah.
is. You cannot even get like that close, but I
Yeah.
actually got that close. I
Oh,
was like I put my hands on that, and I was just like staring at
well, so how close were you? You were like literally next to it.
I was like not even. I was like 2 meters from it. Like not even like a. I was like this close. Like
Imagine the trust they had in you with
yeah,
with no security
but
guard. What
but
if you had been
obviously
one,
like
like one of these environmental activists
oh yeah. Imagine like
with tomato
then I
soup?
just like take something pants out of my. But
Yeah,
obviously like it's very like protected. Like the Mona Lisa is not
yeah,
there. There's like this glass in front.
yeah.
It's like it's this whole thing. But then I was there and it was just like okay, they had to call me. It's like okay, Fred, let's go film because I was just like yeah, okay. Because it was just like very intense in a way to just like be there and like and feel that, it's just like crazy. And I was just there for 2 hours just like pumping up videos like okay, let's go to the next room. Boom, film this, film this, film that, film that. And I posted that first video and the Louvre posted as well. And then the other ones were more just like kind of like organic. Like I didn't really need to do those, but it was just fun, to be in the Louvre. Like when will I be able to do that again?
Yeah.
So I had other ideas. Like one, there was more kind of like a magician where I'd make like disappear something with like a um like this what's it called? Like just like a sheet that I
Yeah,
kind of like
like a
magician.
matador has in the
Yes,
shop.
yes. And I was just like, like playing with that, and this was like super cool. And like, and now like a few months ago, they reached out again, and they said, like since last year, like like the campaign like worked not even last year, it was 2 years ago. This like worked really well. We thought that we could like do something again, and the video that I did was the one that actually performed like the most from the whole campaign. So they called
Wow.
me again, and I did something else. And so I was there. Like basically, the museum closes every Tuesday, and it's
Yeah.
the day that they actually do like maintenance, like shootings and stuff like that. So I got to go there again. It was not like as empty as the during the pandemic, but it was still like super cool to be there again and to have access to some empty rooms. And I did something a little bit different too. Like the beginning of the video is like a little bit more kind of like more poetic, more cinematic, and it ends up with something like very like my style kind of thing.
Wow. Do you ever get creativity blocks, and how
Yes.
do you get through them?
Okay, I love this question. Yes, all the time. Because like, yeah, and I think this happens with everybody too. There is a lot of things that happens like sideways through our lives that affect our creativity. Stress is something that like affects your creativity.
Mm.
If there is something going on with my family that is gonna kind of like stress me out, obviously I'm gonna feel like a little bit blocked, or just like simply because I have no ideas. Like I have no idea what to do, and I found like different ways to deal with that. And what helps me the most, it's obviously do something else, uh, get out of there. And recently, what's been helping me a lot, it's been golfing and also saxophone. I started like playing the saxophone last August.
Huh.
I started pretty well, then like during winter, and then because of work, it was very hard to practice. But it's something that just like takes my mind out of like everything that I'm doing, and just like helps me just kind of like come back on track in a way. Because yeah, like you cannot force create, like if you're blocked, like you cannot just like be there and like, because I used to do that. I was like, I had like a deadline, I need to present some ideas, and I'm in front of my iPad, because everything starts on my iPad. I'm writing down the ideas before I even test them or before I even draw something. I'm like, okay, maybe I can do something where I'm gonna take the Mona Lisa out of the wall. Okay, this is the first idea. Then the hands like this out of Venice. Okay, but sometimes I just like there for hours. Sometimes like even like a day. I spend like a day, and it's very frustrating because it's like a whole day that I'm like, I could have been doing something else. I haven't
Yeah.
done anything today, and I have zero ideas to present. And when this happens, like now, I just like really forced to do something else. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna play the saxophone for like 15 minutes. I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna like maybe go for a run, or even just like for a simple walk. Just go outside. I remember that like I used to have like a lot of ideas like in supermarkets. Why? I have no idea. But I was just like out of my house, like, and then we kind of, oh, maybe this could work. Like, it has nothing to do with supermarkets or with like with the products that I was like looking at. But I think it's just the fact that you were like in a different environment. You were going somewhere else. You were trying something new. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna go play golf for an hour, and because I know that I'm not gonna be thinking about my ideas. I'm not gonna be thinking about like problems or anything else. I'm gonna be just like focusing on something else. Then usually when I come back to it, it's a little bit more fluid, or maybe not. And then I'm gonna try to do something else, and kind of like naturally like wait for it to happen, because I know I'm creative. I know I have good ideas, but obviously it doesn't happen like in the moment that I want to sometimes. But I know it's in there, so it's more of like, okay, how can I access that? But this connection, it's being blocked by all of these things that happens in our lives, like I said before, the stress, like these problems, and this, oh my god, I need to like some stuff that like has nothing to do with work. Like right
Right.
now, like like I told you that I was finally got the studio. I
Yeah.
was like accepted to it, like, but like the deadline was super short because I'm getting the keys tomorrow, but I'm handing my apartment on Saturday, so I have one day to move all my equipment out. And this was like something that was like causing me a little bit of like side stress,
Yeah.
that if I would think about this too much when I was working, it would be block me for sure, because you cannot like handle like all of these things. But I think mainly like if I would give like an advice of like how to handle creative blocks, is like do something else, get out of this space that you're in now, go through like a new space, go somewhere else, like go sit by like in a park if you can have access to that. I think most cities have like a little park. Go and sit down, like do some like people watching, and and this kind of like helps. And I spoke with other creators too about that, and it's usually some things that they do as well.
So getting inspiration outside of the normal patterns that you're in every day and
Yeah.
getting busy with stuff like saxophone that you
Yes,
don't know.
getting busy, of course, getting busy with things that, because most of the times when you're just like have nothing in your mind is when you get lost, and do some like be doing something, is like it's something that's been helping me a lot too.
So we're
Yeah.
talking video, and it's in 2023, so we have to talk a bit about AI
Yeah.
because it's so crazy. Like
Insane.
every single, not week, but every single day, I'm seeing new tools that are almost blowing my mind.
Yeah.
What are some of the craziest things that you've seen when it comes to what you're doing?
There is one that I've been actually trying to get access to that, but I wasn't able to. It's called Wonder Dynamics. It's this AI tool that basically you see me in right now, like in this video. So I'm here. I'm gonna record myself like this, and then the software is gonna capture like my movements, and it's gonna create like a 3D skeleton of me, and be able to replace me into like any CGI character that you want. And it's also gonna fill up the blank from like, I'm not here, and it's gonna replace to that. So this was like one of the craziest. I will send
Oh,
that later because it's
yeah.
it's like insane. It's like truly insane. and I've no like I cannot like process of like how this is even calculated. I've seen like people like videos of like guys like skateboarding, and then you take just that one footage of you skateboarding. The software just like analyzes everything, and you just need to upload the 3D character that you want, and then you can take like all of this data through your 3D software and change it. Like if you want to have like a you have like the 3D model that you like of like of a character of whatever that you downloaded or that you even created, and you can add all of this like motion that was like from like this play like playing they don't have like that. How they gonna calculate that my arm is like this, but somehow they do. And this for me is like it's one of the craziest out there. Like I'm like speechless every time like I see their stuff, and I've that's why I was like I even like DM them. I was like, guys, like I'm so passionate about like your project. If you ever like need something, like I would even do for free. Like I don't care. Like that's how much like I love what your project, you know. And but it's also like can also be like a little bit scary in a way of how
Yeah.
fast it's going.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard the songs.
Yeah. Like the Drake song and the
Yeah,
yeah.
like
I know.
like
And
and
it's so
this
good too.
and also this is new. It's just started.
Yeah, it's
Imagine
like the
5 years
last 6
from now.
months from
5 years from
November.
now, like crazy. So it's like it's scary at the same time. It's very exciting, and but I just like have no idea where this is going. You know, it's just like insane. But
And I
and
mean,
it's just like you said, it's just like every day there's like a new tool coming out. Like I know that there's this one as well, that basically, you know, when we're and you will know about that when you were recording with like three cameras like an interview,
yeah,
there's this AI tool that cuts off for you all the single
the
like
multicam into
the
one. Yeah,
multicam into
I
one.
know. That's
And you see
crazy.
like I saw like on Premiere Pro, it's just like it just go like
Yeah.
in a month of like a few like minutes. Obviously sometimes it takes a little long, but like nothing
Actually, we're
compared.
using that one. We're using that one now. We just tried it with the last episode.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh cool, cool.
I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it cuts, maybe from 5 hours to an hour in
Yeah,
manual time to actually do it. So I
yeah.
mean that's a huge
And
save.
especially because it's 1 hour of the computer working by itself, not
Yeah,
1 hour of like somebody there actually doing the work,
right, exactly.
which is insane.
And I think, I mean, obviously AI is affecting everything, the whole world,
Yeah,
but I think especially in video and in music, like you say, like in video and audio and like editing and this stuff, that's where it's so tangible, and
yeah,
everything is happening so quickly, like Mid Journey with photos, but then there's also a Mid Journey for video,
yeah.
and there's even this software where we're not even going to need these mics anymore because it can basically
I
take
thought,
any kind of mic, and you can be in a
yeah, like in
church
an
with
iPhone, like very bad quality
like
audio.
an iPhone in a church with like the worst echo possible, and then some magic happens in the AI tool, and then it sounds like you're in this perfect studio setting,
Yeah,
like in a podcast. I'm like, what? Like
yeah,
all these mics are not going to be necessary. And the same thing with like cameras, like they can follow you if I'm doing this. They can like
yeah,
center.
yeah.
So
Make
I'm
it sharp when it's not sharp, and
exactly.
yeah, a lot of like even like facing retouching tools that like tracks your face to like add things and like things that you would be able to do, like for example on DaVinci Resolve, like manually and retouch that, but it's
Yeah,
just like makes you just like gain a lot of time.
yeah,
And or from somebody like me that like work by myself, and this is just like super cool, like being able to like I'm actually trying like to integrate like more of like those tools to be able to be like a little bit quicker and save some time. I'm just waiting for that one AI that are going to be able to I know that there's some out there, but it's not perfect yet, because a lot of like the things that I do is I don't know if you ever heard of like rotoscoping.
no,
Is
what's
this
that?
tool from an After Effects that basically like cut off the subject or something from the background. So
Okay.
it's just like, instead of like me filming on a green screen and being able to take the background off, I can just film like just like this, the way that you're seeing. And if I want like double myself here, I can just like cut myself out. But it's just like by it's very good actually. You just like paint around, and the software actually like detects like the edges, and when I'm moving it's actually detecting in like frame by frame, but it's
Ah,
still like a work that you have to go frame by frame and
yeah.
readjust like a few here and there. But once they have something that you can just like, here's my video, separate all the layers on this video for me, and then you separate the subject to the background, and when it separates the background it also creates what it's there. I mean, just like the content aware creation, which is,
Yeah.
and this is something that I know for a fact that it's gonna happen at some point very soon, and it's gonna be very useful for me.
Very useful. And I
Yeah,
mean, what's happening with all these big budget productions, which you probably saw a few years ago, that you know a creator with a low budget can get way more traction and perform way better in some cases. I think that's especially interesting in fashion, where
yeah,
some productions are really super high budget, and then
yeah,
you can, as a creator, do something which is just gets more engagement. But now with AI, you can make something look high budget even with a low budget. So
yeah,
I'm just thinking, what's going to happen with all of that? It's
yeah.
impossible to say.
It's impossible to say. I think it's gonna take like a little while still, because a lot of these brands and like most of like the teams that are working there, and they are still like used to how it was done before. And yes, have like those campaigns like in big campaigns, and the print is very important, so we need like those photos to be, so there was like a lot of like work on that still. And I think it would be something like very scary to the brands to just transit like that and be like, okay, we don't need those big production anymore. Let's just hire like a few creators here and there to run our campaigns.
Yeah.
I don't think it would happen like that. I think it's already like slowly happening, and I see that when I see like brands like Prada trusting me to by myself to create like the videos for their TikTok account.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I know that like, it's videos that are seen by millions and millions of people, and it's just they're just like created by me, just
Yeah.
that single guy on a corner. It's like a few minutes here and there to take the shots. So this already like proves in a way that you don't necessarily need all of this to create something that it's gonna be cool and engaging.
Yeah.
But it's also important, and the traditional way of their doing, it's like I understand that it's not gonna be something that they're just gonna let it go, and but it's gonna be like slowly transition, and I'm just waiting for the moment that where what I'm doing right now is gonna really have the same importance and the same impact as the main campaign that is being produced. Because at the end of the day, like everything is the main campaign.
Yeah.
Everything is part of that campaign. So even if like I'm on the collateral set, it's still something from the campaign, and it's not gonna be like on a billboard saying by I don't even have an idea like how many people like see like a billboard in I don't know, let's say in Times Square, compared to how many people like no, actually we can see how many people see like this TikTok video or like
Yeah.
this. But it's something that it's a little bit more, we can get like a little bit more data from this, and it proves that yeah, we can actually reach a lot of people with not that much of a big production, which
Yeah.
is just interesting and exciting for me.
Very. I mean, probably those two are coming closer and closer each other, and finally that is the main campaign, I guess.
Yeah,
What are some misconceptions about your job? What is it that like people don't really understand? Are there any things that get people surprised?
actually funny because like right now, like I don't really like this word, but like most of the time I'm like on set, I'm the TikTok guy. You know? And which is funny because it's like, okay, I know like I make videos for the TikTok, but I make videos,
Yeah.
and it's something that we've been working with the brands to kind of like change that because
What do you think is a
obviously
good title?
uh like I don't know, like a creator, like
Yeah.
I'm also a director
Yeah.
because I direct my own content. I'm
Right.
also a creative director,
Yeah.
uh, but what I do is like I create digital assets,
Yeah.
like digital content. So there is actually it's videos that are used for TikTok, okay, but they're not like TikTok videos.
Right.
It's videos that I thought for the platform, but the problem with that is like when people say TikTok videos, they're gonna like associate that with like a lip sync, a little dance, a
Yeah.
little fun, and not that very like taken serious like video. So but, like I've seen and I've like and I felt that a lot like on set. Obviously, this has been changing, but yeah, sometimes you're not gonna be like be taken serious by some like important people because you are like that the TikTok guy. It's
Right.
like, oh no, it's just like making the videos for the TikTok.
Right.
It's like
Oh,
I
okay.
think those are like
Method
the
play.
most like yeah,
Yeah.
it's like but then they're like they see what's the outcome is like,
Mm.
oh, oh, this is the video that the TikTok guy
Mm.
made.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Mm.
damn. Okay, cool. So it's like because it's just like the word TikTok. It's already like not very sexy in a way,
Yeah, it sounds a bit silly.
yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
super silly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like the what I feel like the most is that it's like that people just kind of like they think that this is like something like a little bit silly and don't really see like the importance of this platform. They don't just see that this is just like a platform with like a lot of people and with like most of the buyers from tomorrow.
Yeah.
They're there. So creating like an awareness like about like those brands in this platform is super important because most of people today they're not watching TV anymore. They're not seeing the main campaign whatever you're shooting for TV or for
Yeah.
like they don't see that and long videos that you're producing and then they're not gonna watch that. It's like, yes, it's beautiful. I love it too. Like, I also want to create, like, and work with some like big campaigns like this and create like this type of videos, but I'll do it in a different way because, like, I don't personally think that like that this is being like seen a lot, and and it's just like funny, because sometimes this like the word TikTok would even like scare some models and some talents, and I would have to say to the brands, and obviously the brand is different. The brand that like hired me, I'm there, like they know the importance of TikTok and or
Yeah.
Instagram or YouTube Shorts or whatever. That's why they hired me. That's why I'm there. But the whole production, the other like the main photographer, the creators, and this and that, like I know that like it's changing now, but at the beginning it was a little bit like if I would get like because I'm super easygoing and I'm don't really like take things like this personally. But some people would feel like even offended by some ways like that somebody some people would like treat me on set or just like give like less attention to you because you're just like the TikTok guy.
Really? And they don't want to be. You said that some of the models didn't want to work with that. Is that because
Because
they
imagine the model is like it's being shot right now in like in this in one of the sets,
yeah.
and then somebody from production tells her, okay, now we're going to the TikTok.
Yeah.
And then it was
Yeah.
like, wait,
Yeah.
TikTok? But
Yeah.
then like some models would like arrive to me and be like, sorry, like I don't know how to dance. I was like,
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Let me explain to you what I do. Yes, the videos are for TikTok, but this is the example. And then it comes handy the fact that I have those examples. Because I would show, oh, okay, cool. That's actually super cool. I actually like that. This is cool. That's why I'm saying that like this is really changing now.
Yeah.
Like I have a little bit more respect from like people on set that I have a little bit more space. Like usually now I have my own set, even though if it's a smaller set in a little corner of the studio, but I do. It's like it's progress every time, every shoot. It's like okay, okay, and then they're not like maybe one first like time that I'm shooting with this brand, they're not really familiar with my work. They don't really know who I am. Like it's funny. Yesterday I even made a joke about that because yesterday I was on set, and somebody from who did this the hairstylist girl. She came to me and she was like, "Oh, excuse me, are you from production?" And I was like, I said, "No, no, no, I'm actually the the video creator." Like, and she was like, "Oh, sorry, sorry." Like, but in a way, like I kind of felt that because like me on set when I arrive, I say hi to everybody,
Yeah,
to the highest person,
yeah,
to the person that it's gonna be like cleaning the set. I'm gonna, oh hi, nice to meet you. Like, oh, how are you doing? You're good, doing good, yeah. Like, I'm nice. And
yeah,
it's kind of like known that sometimes like these big photographers in fashion and this they have like a certain like attitude that wouldn't even talk to people. It was like, oh,
of course.
that's why she thought I was from production because I was
Yeah,
just like being nice and talking to everyone. But
yeah,
yeah, but like this is like it's like it's slowly changing. Like I say, like I'm getting like a little bit like more time as well, more trust. Like for example, with Prada now it's totally different. Like last time, like I was in New York shooting with them, and it was super nice. I had my own space called the digital assets.
uh-huh.
Even though if there's still some people that would like refer that as like a TikTok, but people knew the type of stuff that I was doing, and it was already different. Like the model, they would come and be like, "Okay, cool." Like even though we're like doing TikToks, but like you make me cool, make me look cool on TikTok, and so it's like it's changing slowly. But which I don't take that personally, and I don't take this bad because it's all right. Like it's something new. People need to like discover that, and the more they will see, and the more they people also like outside will see like the importance of that,
Yeah.
you will be treated in a different way.
And I mean, it means that you are early on into something because that's why it's seen as silly. And it was the same thing with YouTube. It
Yes,
started out when you said,
100%.
somebody was uploading a video on YouTube, you thought that was like somebody making a prank in
Yes,
public on somebody
yes,
else. Like,
yes,
what is that? It's like for kids, or it's just
yeah. Why are you going to
dramatic,
record
bad.
yourself talking about your life, and who
Right? Yeah.
cares? Who
Who
will watch
cares
that?
about that? And then YouTube is bigger than all the TV
Yeah,
channels in the
yeah.
whole world.
And then
And
you
the
see
same thing
somebody like
is,
Casey Neistat, that like
yeah,
just created this empire by just like vlogging and showing his life, his lifestyle, what he and
exactly. And then TV is, nobody's watching TV, especially not in the new generation. So
yeah.
I think, a
This
better word,
this
yeah,
TV right here is just like to watch, like Netflix or YouTube
and
videos.
YouTube. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so short form video content. I
Yeah,
think they should call
very
it
like
that
early
instead of,
stage.
yeah,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
digital assets. Yeah.
yeah.
And
And it feels like crazy, to be because like in a way I kind of feel like I'm like a pioneer in that,
yeah,
and
of course.
because like all like especially like when I started, now there's also like other people like guys and girls that like also like do what I do, creating also producing for brands and doing like really great work. But I don't see like even now like I don't see like much of like this single person coming and doing it at all. And this is something that comes in really handy to the brands as well because even in terms of production there is only like one plane ticket to buy, one hotel room to
Yeah.
it's kind of like also easier. It's like one person to talk to if they need to change something when I'm filming, like can talk to me like when it makes it super easy and like and it flows like much better.
It's cool because that's like for me, that's like the really cool thing with the creative world. If you compare that with the business world, for instance, like the creative directors, Mark Jacobs, Lee McQueen, and like all of them that were. I was just watching this documentary. What is it? Kingdom of Dreams, and
Uh-huh.
you realize like it's usually just one person obviously there's people around them, but they usually don't manage that many people. They're just creative geniuses and putting out the designs behind the dresses. And it's kind of the same thing here, but instead of dresses, it's like the digital assets, the videos.
Yes.
You don't need like 15 people around you to do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's like your creative imagination that counts.
Yeah. Because I understand where this comes from. Uh, because before, let's say video, before like digital, was complicated to
Oh
actually
yeah.
capture and edit video content.
You
So
need one
obviously,
light guy, one sound guy, one,
yeah,
yeah.
lights were like extremely heavy. You would need like at least 3 4 guys just to set up that one light.
Yeah.
The videos, like the cameras, to be able to operate a camera, you would need at least like 3 people. You need somebody that was
Same.
like to edit those, take the film, cut the film, place. Somebody would be there just to replace the roll of film of your camera, because like the guy would like maybe like know how to like frame it, but it wasn't necessarily the person who would be expert in changing the roll of film inside the camera. So
Yeah.
there is like a need from like all of these people, and what's happening with like technology evolving and all of these tools like happening, and even in terms of equipment. The camera that I use today, I shoot on red.
Mm.
It's a red camera. It's like a cinema camera. Like a few, not even that, like a few years ago, like a red camera, like people would say like, oh, you can't like operate like a camera like this by yourself. You need somebody else, like at least for the focus. You need somebody for the, and it's different today. Like I have a red and I operated my red by myself. And I have some like obviously like focus wise. Sometimes if you have somebody to pull focus, yeah, you if you want to do certain things, you actually need it. But there is a lot that you can do without. The setup. Like if you see like sometimes like my sets, like people like put me like in the space. They throw me the equipments that I rented, the lights, the tripods, and I set it up all by myself. Tripods, backdrops, lights, this and that, because equipment wise also changed. There is
Yeah.
like some lights, the lights that I'm using now, like I can like, in 5 minutes I can set this up, right? Boom, perfect, done. And there's like a lot that you can do with that. So like obviously in a way it's like a little bit like scary, because it's not like it's gonna like you can think that it's gonna like, oh, take people's jobs,
Mm.
out of
Mm.
the equation. uh, but it's also giving the opportunity to a lot of people to do things
Yeah.
just like I'm doing, and be able like to expand and do more.
Mm.
So it's like scary but also like interesting, and I'm also kind of really like surfing into this new wave and trying to make the most out of it with all of these tools that we now have access to.
I think you'll be able to do like a big Hollywood movie production if you would want to by yourself in the future. Let's say 10 years from now.
We'll discuss in 10 years from now, and
Yeah.
then 100% there's gonna be like some big stuff that I'm gonna be doing with like a team of three.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%. Do you have a
yeah.
dream like that? Is there something you want to do? Do you want to make like big blockbuster movies, or do you want to
um
continue doing
Actually,
for brands?
I started and with the dream of, yeah, become a cinematographer and
Yeah.
work on films. That switched a little bit. I don't really think of that at the moment. Maybe it's something that like eventually is gonna happen. But because now I'm like really into fashion, I'm like really loving it. I think the big dream right now is to be able to grow on that vertical line,
Yeah.
and be able to bring more to what I'm doing now, expand a little bit from the TikToks, but show that I'm also capable to run the main campaign, and to shoot that and create like something like around it, and yeah, but just like create something that it's uh bigger in a way. And also because I'm a very, just like you, I think like kind of like a geek in a way, or I want to be able to also play with like some tools. I want to be able
Mm.
to uh like this cinema robot like arm that kind of like moves the cameras,
Hmm.
and like with like very precise like motions, and it can repeat the motions. And like I want to have access to that very soon,
Yeah.
and be able to expand my creativity to, because obviously there's limits to what I can do by myself. Always there's a lot I can do, but obviously some things it's impossible to do by myself.
Yeah.
And so being able to like have access to those tools and kind of like expand in a way what I'm already doing, I think this is the like short form like a dream. Oh, sorry, yeah, in the short term dream.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, fashion is probably a great place to be because it is very innovative in this field. I feel like within creativity to
Yeah,
be different because
yeah,
there's you always like you have new shows coming up, you have new seasons, new
exactly.
collections. So like fashion
And
is
it's
very
cool.
much in the forefront when it comes to
Yeah,
things like this, right? Yeah.
because I also like get to work with like some also really cool people in the music industry, people
Right.
like actors, like sometimes I get to direct some like big actors, and it's
Yeah.
just like that's crazy. Like when I realize, I'm like, oh my god, I'm just like giving some directions to like this person.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's insane. and uh and so it's that's like being in fashion now. I think it's like it's really cool. So like for that. And yeah, maybe like it would be fun to like shoot some music videos. uh would be fun to shoot like different like type of like commercials.
Mm.
um Maybe it's gonna be like I'm gonna find a new way to like advertise, and just like now where I came up like with this kind of like short form, and like I really like adapting to that. Like what is next, you know? Maybe I'm gonna be already like ready and like in here to when the next is coming, and be able to jump into that too, and to adapt whatever it's coming, and whatever like people also are demanding, because it's always like that, you need to adapt to whatever people are wanting. And the short form is just because like people like today doesn't have like much time, or they don't the phone, like watching things on your phone, like you don't like stay much into one content. It's been something that it's that's why people call like snackable content,
Mm.
because it's just like snacks. It's just like
Mm.
you're getting there, you're seeing it, you're scrolling. So the more that you get like people's attention from that short period, like the better it is. So but again, it's like adapting to what like people's need, and it's always like that. So I'm just like on the lookout for how our people are like changing the way that they're consuming. But I think for now and for like at least a few years, it's kind of gonna stay like that and just like expand a little.
Yeah. So, lastly, uh, if somebody has been listening to this and now they feel super inspired and they want to go into this field and do what you're doing, what's your number one tip to somebody who's been listening to this and feel that they want to make a change and they feel super inspired by Fred?
Okay, can I give a few? Because it's very hard to give like just one tip, but
Yes.
like I would say, and that maybe the first one is to be nice and smile. I always say that, but I think this is very important, because apart from like the industry, apart from like put everything aside, we are all humans, and
Mm.
the connection, and it's important uh to be like a nice person. It sounds
Yeah.
super silly, but like
It's
it is, and
underrated.
it makes a huge difference. And I know that like for me also made a huge difference. Not that like I'm being nice just to get off that in return. No, it's just like it's just a must. Like, because you can, like I said, you can be talented, you can do whatever you want, but like if you're not nice, it's not gonna work out. So like, be nice, be passionate about what you do, and really put in like the work, and like don't be scared of like failures, because obviously it's like just like everything else. It's hard, takes time. You gotta be patient. You gotta do it again and do it again and try it out. And if you really believe that you can like do something, like it's gonna happen eventually. And the other tip would be, yes, to like have faith in you, you know, like believe that you can do something great. And because I always had that belief in me, like I always like thought that I could do something cool. Like I don't know what it is, but I can do something cool. And just like putting the work into that, because nobody else is gonna do it for you. You're not gonna just like happen to be like in this position where you're gonna be like creating videos for brands. You're gonna chase that. So like just go out there and like try different things, try different methods, different techniques. Really try hard. Like, and what I used to say is like just shoot everywhere,
Yeah.
try different things. Okay, especially like now with AI, there's like different things that you can try, and just like really go there and try all of these different things, and be passionate. Like don't give up. There's gonna be some hard times, but just like everything else, there's always gonna be like some hard times in all jobs that you're gonna do, even creative, not creative, like because this is life. So get used to it. It's gonna be tough, but at the end of the day, it's fun. It's super fun. And that's the last advice, is just like have fun, because like if you're not having fun, like what's the point of being here, you know? It's like, and this goes to life as well, because we're not here just like to serve this purpose of like work and pay bills and pay rent, and then we'll sleep. No, we're here to like do things and get the most out of it. And this is like something that is very me, you know, like I try to, everything that I can get, I'll take. Yeah, I'll take, because this is like the way that I like to do things. And I think that it's also something that it brings me a lot, and also inspire me as well. I get inspired from life, from the things that we're able to do, from the people that you meet. That's also comes back to being nice and giving like a good impression of yourself, being professional. Like it's I don't even said that before, being professional, but this is something that it just like has to come with it. Like it's it's a base, you know, like respect deadlines, arrive on time. Sounds silly, but like those are just like the base that you need.
Mm.
And on top of that, add like the passion and the hard work, and eventually it's gonna happen. It might gonna take some time, because timing is very like relative. It's not because you've been working super hard for 5 years and you get frustrated and nothing happened. Like things started only happening to me like after 10 years of getting like starting playing with cameras.
Yeah.
Up until like last, yeah, it was only like I'm 31 now. And but maybe there's gonna be somebody out there that is listening, and then it's gonna start, and in a year from now this person's already gonna be like creating for brands and doing crazy stuff, because again there's so many talented people out there. So like don't be afraid to just like show your talent and expand it, and always be like a looking out for what is out there. Like don't be close to whatever you're only thinking. Be open-minded, be, you know, to be able to like listen and learn, like learn how to listen to the critiques as well, because it's important, you know. Like we have tendency to be like to feel like threatened with a critique, but obviously there's critiques and critiques. So like take the most out of that to make you learn, and like and never like takes like never think that you already like know everything, because we never do. There's always something to learn. Like technology is evolving like crazy. Like if I don't pay attention to AI right now, there's gonna be somebody in a year from now that I'm gonna be doing what I'm doing with them, some AI tools that are gonna like be doing like even crazier stuff than me. So always learning. You never stop learning, and have fun. That's have fun. It's not never enough. And smile, of course. I repeat those stuff, but it's just that I feel that it's super important, and I know that it makes like a huge difference.
Indeed. Solid tips. Really underestimated and undervalued stuff. A smile can go a really long way. And what's the point if you're not having fun? I mean, you can make a living in a lot of things. So you might as well have fun while doing it.
Exactly.
So yesterday, I watched a movie, parts of a movie. It's called Pan's Labyrinth. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
Spanish from 2006. If there's one movie I would recommend right now, it would be that one. It's by Guillermo del Toro. According to me, it's his masterpiece. And so I watched it yesterday just by random event 17 years later. I watched it on cinema 2006 when I was 16 with my mother. And
Awesome.
it was such a nostalgic moment, and I had to like read everything about the movie, and it's so amazing. Like, it's a huge team. My point though is that I have a feeling this next movie is going to be created by somebody like you or you, who is there, like, one or two or three people there's just, really good with all the tools,
Yeah.
and started out doing short form content. I'm 110% sure. So
Yeah.
I'm super
Yeah.
inspired by this. Thank you so much, Fred. Has
Thank
been
you so
a
much. Yeah.
really valuable class in creativity.
I'm happy. If I can just like say one last thing because you
Yeah,
reference a movie now. I don't know if you saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, the movie that won the Oscars now. They
I
won like
haven't
so
seen
many
it.
right.
I haven't seen it. No, but yeah.
There is like the crew, the people who actually like like editors and stuff. There was actually like not like was not like a massive crew. And I saw this video because I didn't know, and I saw this interview with the directors, the editors, and there's like just like five of them, and they're like shooting like the editing, like the like concepts, the way they shot. It was just like super also inspiring for me
Wow.
because it was just like a movie that just like out of like nowhere they won like so many awards for editing, for like the directing, for like the best actress, the leading actor. It's just like
They're like,
insane.
we're all the same people.
And I was like, yeah, it was me. Like I edit, but I
Oh,
also
that's me
filmed it,
too.
and I also did
Yeah.
this. So like, yeah, they used like shots that they were. There was like this scene where she's kind of like going through like this kind of like different like some sort of like portal, and she goes through different like people like locations at the same time, and it's like stuff that they shot like on an iPhone or something like that, and they were just
Love
like
that.
shooting with like different like cameras, and they were just like, oh, this could be like a good place for the scene of the movie, and they would like just shoot that in a random place, and it was super inspiring. So
Wow.
yeah,
They shot an
look,
Oscar nominated movie with an iPhone. Are
not
you?
not the whole film obviously, but
Yeah.
there's like
But
some,
scenes?
yeah,
Okay.
some stuff that they used, yeah, yeah, and it was
That's
super inspiring that for me too. So yeah, like let's imagine that like soon I'll also be playing with some some sort of like productions like that too. It'll be
yeah.
cool.
The next Oscar movie will be shot with an iPhone 16, maybe 2 years.
Yeah. True, true. Yeah,
And
this is like something that I always said to my mom, like one day I'm gonna win an Oscar.
I'm 100% you will. I'm putting my money on that.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
if you have time, if you're looking for a movie to watch this weekend, or if somebody watching or listening is, I highly, highly, highly recommend Pan's Labyrinth. Finally, I have a movie to recommend when somebody's asking me about my favorite movie. I used to say Snatch with Brad Pitt. That's probably now my
Love it.
second one. This
Yeah.
is a total different one, but it gives me the chills even to talk about it in a good way, like goosebumps. Pan's
Awesome.
Labyrinth. It's in Spanish by Guillermo del Toro, 2006, classic, real classic by now.
I'm gonna watch that for sure.
Yeah,
We'll have a little chat about it.
for sure.
Awesome.
All right, Fred. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.
This was amazing.